Welcome to the Classical Liberal Arts Academy's study of Aesop's Fables in Latin. In this lesson, we'll study Lupus et Agnus, the wolf and the lamb. Let's begin by reading the fable in Latin. Lupus et Agnum. Ad rivum eiundem, Lupus et Agnus venerant. Siti compulsi. Superior stabat Lupus, longeque inferior Agnus. Tunc, fauce improba, latro incitatus, iurgii causam intulit. Cur inquit, turbulentam fecisti mihi aquam bibenti. Laniger contra timens. Qui possum queso facere, quod quereris lupe? A te decurit ad meos haustus liquor. Repulsus ille veritatis viribus. Ante hos sex menses male ait, dixisti mihi. Respondit Agnus, equidem natus non eram. Pater Hercle tuus ibi, inquit, male dixit mihi. Atque ita correptum lacerat in justa nece. Hec propter illos scripta est homines fabula, qui fictis causis innocentes opprimunt. Now let's study this fable line by line and word by word. Ad rivum eiundem, Lupus et Agnus venerant. Note that the line ends with a comma, so there will be more to this sentence in the next line. The line begins with ad. Ad is a preposition, which means to. This preposition ad is always followed by an accusative case, and we see that accusative case in the next word, rivum. Rivum is a substantive that means river. Ad rivum means to the river. Then we see the pronoun eiundem. Eiundem is also in the accusative case, and it means the same. Ad rivum eiundem, to the river, same, or to the same river. Lupus. Lupus is a substantive noun, and it's in the nominative case. It translates as a wolf. We see Agnus is also a substantive noun and a nominative case, and it translates as a lamb. The subject of our first verb is Lupus et Agnus, a wolf and a lamb. And in our verb, venerant, we see that it's third person and plural, and it's in the pluperfect tense of the verb venio, venire, which means to come. The verb venerant translates as they had come. Ad rivum eiundem, to the same river, Lupus et Agnus, a wolf and a lamb, venerant, had come. In line 2, we see the end of our first sentence. We read, Siti compulsi. Siti is a substantive. It's a singular ablative, and it's going to translate as by thirst. We then see the participle compulsi. Compulsi is a perfect passive participle. It translates as having been compelled, or simply as compelled. Siti compulsi, by thirst compelled. Ad rivum eiundem, lupus et agnus venerant, siti compulsi. To the same river a wolf and a lamb had come, compelled by thirst. The wolf and the lamb come to the same river because they're both thirsty. We then read in line 2, superior stabat lupus. Superior is a comparative adjective. It translates as higher. Stabat is a verb. It's third person, singular, and imperfect. It translates as he stood. Superior stabat. Higher stood lupus, the wolf. Siti compulsi, by thirst compelled. Superior stabat lupus. Higher stood the wolf. So remember, a wolf and a lamb, compelled by thirst, had come to the same river. And here we learn that the wolf stood higher, or higher upstream along that river. Here in line 3, we read, longeque inferior agnus, tunc fauce improba. In line 2, we read the first half of the sentence, superior stabat lupus. Higher stood the wolf. Here we read, longeque inferior agnus. In the word longeque, the suffix que means and. Longe is an adverb that means far off. Inferior is a comparative adjective that means lower. And agnus is a nominative case that means the lamb. Superior stabat lupus. Higher stood the wolf. Longeque inferior, and far off lower, agnus, the lamb. Our next sentence begins, tunc fauce improba. Tunc is a conjunction that means then. Fauce improba. Fauce is a substantive in the ablative case. Fauce means gullet. It's another word for throat. Improba is an adjective noun that means greedy. Fauce improba are both in the ablative case, and they translate together as by a gullet greedy, or by a greedy gullet. longeque inferior Agnus, and far off lower the lamb. Tunc fauce in proba, then by a greedy gullet. In line 3, we read tunc fauce in proba, then by a greedy gullet. And here we continue that sentence. Latro incitatus iurgii causam intulit. Latro is a substantive noun in the nominative case, which means the robber. Incitatus is a participle, a perfect passive participle that means incited. So tunc fauce in proba latro incitatus translates as then by a greedy gullet. Latro incitatus, the robber incited, or then the robber incited by a greedy gullet. Iurgii causam intulit. Iurgii is a substantive noun in the genitive case. It means a quarrel, but because it's in the genitive case, we translate it as of a quarrel. Causam. Causam is also a substantive, and it's in the accusative case. Causam means a cause. And intulit is a verb from the verb infero, inferre. It's an irregular verb. It's third person singular, perfect tense, and it translates as he introduced. The robber, incited by a greedy gullet, introduced, intulit, causam, the cause, iurgii, of a quarrel. Latro incitatus iurgii causam intulit. In line 5, we read cur inquit turbulentam fecisti mihi aquam. This is the speech of the wolf. He asks, cur, why? Turbulentam, troubled or turbulent. Fecisti. Fecisti is a form of the verb facio, facere. It's second person singular and perfect intense. Why have you made turbulentam, troubled, mihi, for me? Mihi is a pronoun, the dative singular form of ego. For me, aquam, the water. Cur turbulentam fecisti mihi aquam. Why have you made for me the water turbulent or troubled? Why have you troubled my water? Here in line 6, we read the end of the question of the wolf, bibenti. In line 5, he asked, cur turbulentam fecisti mihi aquam, and he continues here, bibenti. Why, troubled, have you made for me the water bibenti? Bibenti is a present active participle in the dative case. It translates as for drinking. Cur turbulentam fecisti mihi aquam bibenti. Why, troubled, have you made for me the water for drinking, or my drinking water? Then we read laniger contra timens. Laniger is an adjective noun that means woolly. So there's a substantive here that's not expressed but is understood. We could say the woolly one or the woolly lamb. But the word is simply laniger, which means woolly. The woolly one, contra. Contra is an adverb that means on the contrary or in response. Timens. Timens is a present active participle. It translates as fearing. The woolly one, on the contrary, fearing, and we see that the sentence or the line here ends with a colon, so there's more to come in the next line. Here in line 7, we read the response of the lamb to the wolf. The lamb asks, Qui possum queso facere quod quereris lupe? The sentence begins with qui, which is an adverb that means how. Don't confuse this with the pronoun qui. You can see that this word here is an adverb, and it translates as how. Qui possum. Possum is the first person singular present tense form of the verb possum posse, which means I am able. Qui possum. How am I able? Queso. I ask. Queso is a first person singular present form of the verb queso quesere, which means I ask. How am I able, I ask? Facere. Facere is the infinitive form of the verb facio, facere, and means to do. Qui possum queso facere? How am I able, I ask, to do quod quereris lupe? Quod is a pronoun. It's neuter and accusative. It translates as what. Quereris. Quereris is a verb. It's second person singular. And note that it's deponent. That means it looks like a passive verb, but it has an active translation. Quereris. You complain of. Qui possum queso facere quod quereris? How am I able, I ask, to do quod quereris? What you complain of? Lupe. Lupe is the vocative case of the substantive lupus. We translate it as O wolf. The word O is an interjection that we use to mark the vocative case, to show that the person or thing named is being spoken to. Lupe, O wolf. Qui possum queso facere quod quereris lupe? How am I able, I ask, to do what you complain of, O wolf? Here in line 8, the lamb explains what was unreasonable about the wolf's complaint. The lamb says, A te decurrit ad meos haustus liquor. Remember, the wolf and the lamb had come to the same river compelled by thirst. The wolf stood higher upstream, and the lamb stood lower downstream. The lamb asks the wolf, "How could I have troubled your water?" And then he continues, "A te decurrit ad meos haustus liquor." A is the preposition ab. It means from and is always followed by an ablative case. A te, from you. Te is a pronoun from the pronoun to, the ablative case. A te, from you, decurrit. Decurrit is a verb. It's third person singular and it's present tense. A te decurrit, from you runs down ad meos haustus. In line 1 we saw the preposition ad. We said that it means to and is always followed by an accusative case. We see that accusative case in meos haustus. Meos is a pronoun. It's accusative in plural. It means my. Haustus is a substantive. The noun means drawing, and we see its plural accusative. It's the object of the preposition ad. Ad meos haustus, to my drawing, or to the place where I drink from. A te decurrit ad meos haustus liquor. Liquor is a substantive that simply means liquid. It refers to the water running in the river. So the lamb responds and says, "A te decurrit ad meos haustus liquor." From you, the liquid runs down to my drawing. How can I do that which you complain of? The liquid or the water runs down from you to my drawing. In line 9, we see the wolf's response to the lamb. Repulsus ille veritatis veribus. Repulsus is a perfect passive participle that translates as repulsed. Ille is a pronoun. It's masculine and nominative, so it identifies the subject and refers to the wolf. It's translated as he. Repulsed, he. Veritatis viribus. Veritatis is the genitive case of the substantive veritas, which means truth. Since it's in the genitive case, we translate it of truth. Viribus is another substantive. It's plural ablative form of the substantive vis, which means power or force. Because it's in the ablative case, we translate it here as by the force. He ille repulsus veritatis viribus. He repulsed by the force of truth. And we see the line ends with a colon, so there's more to come. In line 10, we read the words of the wolf as he responds to the lamb's explanation for why his complaining was unreasonable. The wolf says, "Ante hos sex menses male dixisti mihi." Ante is a preposition that means before. It's always followed by an accusative case, and we see the accusative in the phrase hos sex menses. hos is accusative plural. It's a pronoun. The accusative plural form of hic, hec, hoc. It means these. Sex is an adjective that means six. The adjective sex is undeclined. That means it has only one form. But we'll say that it's accusative and plural because it refers to menses and agrees with it in gender, number, and case. Menses is a substantive that means months. It's accusative and plural. So hos, sex, menses means these 6 months. Ante hos sex menses, before these 6 months, or 6 months ago. Male, male is an adverb that means badly. Dixisti, dixisti is a verb. It's second person singular and perfect. It translates as you spoke. Mihi is a dative singular of the pronoun ego, which means to me. So the wolf's second reason for complaining is that ante hos sex menses male dixisti mihi. Before these 6 months, badly you spoke to me. In line 11, the lamb responds to this second complaint of the wolf. Respondit Agnus, equidem natus non eram. Respondit means responds. It's third person singular and present. And Agnus is the substantive lamb. The lamb responds. Equidem natus non eram. Equidem is an adverb that means truly. Truly, natus non eram. Natus is an adjective that means born. Non is an adverb that means not. And eram is the first person singular imperfect tense form of the verb sum esse. It translates as I was. Equidem natus non eram. Truly, born not was I, or I was. Truly, I was not born. The wolf complains that the lamb had spoken badly to him 6 months ago, but the lamb responds and says, I wasn't even born 6 months ago. After the lamb explains why the wolf's second complaint was also unreasonable, the wolf responds and says, Pater Hercle tuus ibi, male dixit mihi. Pater is a substantive that means father. It's the nominative case, the subject of this sentence. Hercle is an interjection. It's undeclined. It has no other forms. It means by Hercules. In other words, the wolf is saying, I swear by Hercules. Pater tuus. Tuus is a pronoun that means your. Pater tuus, your father. Ibi. You'll often see ibi translated as there, but here it means then or at that time. Pater Hercle tuus ibi. Your father, I swear by Hercules, ibi, then, male, dixit, mihi. Male means badly, as we learned. Dixit is third person singular and perfect. It means he spoke, mihi, to me. Your father, by Hercules, then, spoke badly to me. So since his accusation against the lamb was proven unreasonable since the lamb was not even born, he switches his complaint and said that it was the lamb's father who spoke badly to him. In line 13, we read of the wolf's wicked response. Atque ita correptum lacerat injusta nece. Atque is a conjunction which means and. Ita is also a conjunction that means so. Atque ita, and so correptum. Correptum is a perfect passive participle that means captured. It refers to the lamb, who here is captured by the wolf. Atque ita correptum, and so the captured lamb. Lacerat. Lacerat is a verb. It's third person singular and present. The subject of this verb is the wolf. Lacerat, he tears. The object of the verb is correptum, the captured lamb. The wolf tears the captured lamb. Injusta nece. Injusta is an adjective that means unjust. It's in the ablative case. And nece is a substantive that means death. It's also in the ablative case. So the phrase injusta nece is translated in an unjust death. Atque ita correptum lacerat injusta nece. And so the captured lamb he tears in an unjust death. In lines 14 and 15, we read of the moral of this fable. Haec propter illos scripta est homines fabula. And note that it ends in a comma, so there's more to come in this sentence in line 15. Haec means this. It's a pronoun, it's feminine, singular, and nominative. This. Propter is a preposition that means about. It's always followed by an accusative case. We see that accusative case in illos. Haec, this, propter, about, illos. Illos is a pronoun, it's accusative and plural, and it means those. This, about, those. Scripta. Scripta is a passive perfect participle that means written. Est is a third person singular form of sum, esse, which means he is or it is. Haec propter illos, this, about, those, scripta est, written, is, homines. Homines is a substantive, it's an accusative, plural form of homo, which means man. Homines translates as men. It's accusative, and it's modified by the pronoun illos. So illos homines is translated as those men, illos homines. And lastly, fabula is a substantive in the nominative case that translates as fable. Fabula is modified by haec, which started this line. Haec fabula, this fable. Haec propter illos scripta est homines fabula. This fable, haec fabula. Propter illos homines, about those men, scripta est. is written. Haec propter illos scripta est homines fabula. This about those written is men fable. You can see how you need to work out that word order to find the right interpretation of this line. Let's now finish up with line 15. In line 14 we read, "This fable is written about those men." And here we read the end of the sentence in line 15. Those men qui fictis causis innocentes opprimunt. Those men qui is a pronoun. It's masculine plural nominative. It refers back to homines and is translated who. Those men who fictis causis. Fictis is an adjective that means false. It's in the ablative case here and plural number. Those men who fictis causis. Causis is also ablative and plural and means causes. Fictis causis. By or with false causes. Innocentes. Innocentes is a plural accusative form of the substantive innocens or innocens. It means the innocent. Opprimunt. Opprimunt is a verb, third person plural and present. Means they oppress. This fable is written about those men qui fictis causis, who with false causes innocentes, the innocent, opprimunt, oppress. This fable of the wolf and the lamb is written about those men who oppress the innocent with false causes. This is the moral of the fable of the wolf and the lamb. After you've studied all of the slides with the translation and explanation of this fable, you should be able to read through the Latin with perfect understanding. I'm going to read the Latin again here at the end of this lesson, and if you've studied the lesson carefully, you should be able to listen and understand as we go along. Let's listen to the fable of the wolf and the lamb. Ad rivum eundem, lupus et agnus venerant, siti compulsi. Superior stabat lupus, longeque inferior agnus. Tunc fauce in proba, latro incitatus, iurgii causam intulit. Cur inquit, turbulentam fecisti mihi aquam, bibenti. Laniger contra timens. Qui possum queso facere, quod quereris lupe? A te decurit ad meos haustus liquor. Repulsus ille veritatis viribus. Ante hos sex menses male ait, dixisti mihi. Respondit Agnus, equidem natus non eram. Pater Hercule tuus ibi inquit, male dixit mihi. Atque ita correptum lacerat, in justa nece. Haec propter illos scripta est homines fabula, qui fictis causis innocentes opprimunt. I hope that you've enjoyed this lesson in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy's study of Aesop's Fables in Latin. For more resources from the Classical Liberal Arts Academy, visit us online at classicalliberalarts.com. God bless.